Hi, Professor Keeley again. So this little segment is about APA versus MLA. And before I begin, I wanted to introduce Miriam. This is Miriam. She is a Maltese. As you can see, she, like Lily, is a psychiatric service dog. I got her from a puppy mill. She's one of my dogs that I actually purchased versus the other animals that I have that you may see random coming through. One of the most gentle dogs. She's about 9 years old. So she has a heart murmur. So she sees a cardiologist. But she's very gentle, and but she still has some issues having been in a puppy mill. She was a breeder, so she's had a lot of puppies in her life. I did get her fixed. I don't feel like she needs to do that anymore, but she's one of the dogs, again, that will appear in my videos. If you're in my face-to-face class, I'm trying to see if I can bring them into class to make it a little bit easier because they are great at relieving stress. So this is Miriam. So to talk about APA and MLA, it's very confusing to students, and in some ways it hasn't been fair. In high school, you were probably taught MLA. If you've taken English courses, especially those English courses here at LCC, and I'm an English major, I learned MLA. The problem is that you are now taking a track in either business and or marketing, and those courses, especially at the transfer schools, all require APA. So I had to learn how to write an APA. Why I'm fierce about it, and I've even said something to my colleagues about it because I've used it in my career. When let's say I came from the workforce management industry. I've also worked in telecommunication. As you see from my bio, I've worked in a lot of different industries. But when I do PowerPoint presentations, if let's say I'm going out to the Department of Labor or the Bureau of Labor Statistics or the American Staffing Association, and I'm using some information from them, I use the same citations, either in text citations if I'm writing a white paper, or if I'm on a PowerPoint presentation, because I want my clients to know where I'm getting my information from so that they can trust the data that I'm giving them, because there's a lot of data out there. There's data like the Department of Labor, for example, has data that tracks back to the 1970s and beyond. So if I'm doing a comparison, or if I'm pulling most current data, I want to make sure that they know where I'm at. Because again, what does citations do? It's number one, saying that I didn't write it, somebody else did the work, but it's also giving them a way to be able to go out and look at it themselves. So you want to always give them that information. So APA and MLA have two different ways of being able to cite things. They have two different names of their pages, whether it's a bibliography or a works cited page. So I have provided you with 3 different documents, pretty much the same thing, just different ways of looking at it, that provide you with the cheat, basically, so that you can say, here's how it is in MLA and here's how it is in APA. Again, I'm expecting APA. And I'm also wanting to make sure that you understand that why and how to be able to do that. So during these classes, you might get an assignment that says, answer these 5 questions. I'm not expecting you to say, number 1, here's the question, here's the answer. Number 2, here's the question, here's the answer. That's the easy way of doing it. And that's not professional writing. I'm expecting you to look at the question, find the keywords that are in the question, and make a subheading out of it. So that you'll have, if you so inclined, you can put that you have to have a title of your paper. That's easy. Look at the assignment name. You can do a little lead in, or not. Go right into answering the question. But you want to create a paragraph or 2 that answers that question. You will create a topic sentence, just like you did in English, where you say, I'm going to explore these 4 different things, or I'm going to look at these 4 things at Apple Inc. Or I'm going to look at these 3 things, or I'm going to discuss these 3 things, whatever. But that first sentence is a topic sentence of that paragraph that explains to me what you're going to discuss in your paragraph, the who, what, where, when, whys you're going to be answering. Then you're going to get to the next question. And again, don't repeat the question, pull out keywords, put a heading in there so that I know that you're on that question, because I now have the keywords that are telling me that you're on that question. And then write your paragraph. Again, topic sentence, write your paragraph, and then answer each question so that you have At the very top of your page, you've got your name, my name, the date, the course number, and the name of the course. You have a title, you have a running head, and then you have your how you're going to answer the questions. So I do grade because I've written a lot of RFPs, and RFPs are called requests for proposals, and that is where it's a sales function. It's a client will put out and say, I'm looking for a new vendor to come and do this. And they give you a detailed breakdown of what they're looking for or where their problems are at. And I, as what they call a solution architect, I have to go and figure out what solution we're going to offer them and how to answer each one of their questions. And in the way that they ask their responses, they want them in a very, it's a format. They will ask for 12 point Times New Roman. They will ask sometimes for certain types of indents or margins on the paper. They will ask for headings, subheadings. And then, when you're writing, and sometimes it's a lot that you're writing and it's explanation, you want to put subheadings to break it up so that you're giving your key concepts so that it makes it easier for your client to follow, to say, okay, so they answered this question, they answered that question, because a lot of questions are sometimes they're a 4-part question. Maybe one sentence, but it'll say, please let us know about the history of your company, who your major clients are, what types of solutions that you have, and anything else that we need to know. Well, you want to break it down in the order they ask the question and answer it. So there's ways that formatting can help guide you to answer questions, to break it down and make it easier for clients or your employees to be able to understand something easier. And then ways that you indent for, direct quotes that you're using. All of those, will be using these formats in the business world. And almost every school that's out there that you are in a business or marketing program will require APA. Even accounting classes or economics classes, any of the business related classes that are housed under the School of Business here will require APA. So now is that time to make sure that you understand the shift between the two of them. And I've given you the tools that'll make it successful, because I'll also provide you some examples that you can see how other students have written their papers in the way that I want them. Otherwise, I will grade you down. Because again, I'm not just doing this to be mean. I'm doing this to give you skills that when you walk out of here, that you know how to write professionally, that you know how to write in a format that you will explain how to cite your sources to people, how to cite images that you borrow on the internet so you don't get accused of plagiarizing, and then someone sues you and your company for millions of dollars, and then you expose yourself to risk. So it's a practice that I learned in school that I carried with me into the professional world. It's one of the reasons why I was very successful in sales, at selling, and making our solution and our products very easy for people to understand. It's the reason why when I wrote case studies and white papers and blogs, I use all of the things that I learned in school, especially with the APA and the MLA, on how to be able to do that. So it becomes important that you know the difference between the two, and it becomes really important that in your papers or even your short answers, that again, you're thinking about professional writing, formal versus informal, and APA versus MLA. So if you're at least trying, and again, those are the comments I'm going to give you in your papers. So it's not just, hey, you didn't use this term, this marketing term, or you didn't explain this marketing concept very well, or this business concept very well. It's that I'm also going to look at your grammar. I'm going to look at formal versus informal writing, your professional writing, and I am going to look at APA versus MLA. So if you did MLA by accident, I'm going to take that into consideration, because at least you tried. If you don't try at all, you will be marked down for it. Again, I am trying to impress upon you that these are the things that I learned that made me successful in my career, that I want you to be successful in yours.